Hey guys, Winning Cards here. I have Harrison here at Locals tonight. What do we play tonight, Harrison?
We're playing Power Rangers.
Awesome, super quants. Let's go ahead and get on into it and see what we've got here.
So in the starting if we have 3 Fairy Elfins.
Okay, standard.
So they're standard searcher that gets us the
3 White Rangers.
So after the Fairy Elfins, we obviously go with the White Ranger. Lets us to recycle our Fairy Elfin after we immediately use it for the field spell that is the bread and butter of the deck.
Gotcha. Okay.
One of the fun effects is also allows you to dump the extra super quants so you can get fun other combo effects.
Yeah.
So,
Gotcha.
So just continue going on. We have triple the package of everything. So 3
Red
red
Rangers.
layers. Normally pretty good. It's really helpful if you have it first thing in your hand if you have nothing on the field. And we have the Searcher. Besides the Alphin, we have the main Searcher.
Blue Ranger. All right.
Good with E-Teleport, so I definitely play that and include it as well.
Yep.
Never usually lasts long enough to worry about E-Teleport.
It's a good psychic target, yeah.
Has the Graveyard effect, allows you to cycle them back, but don't usually activate that often.
Okay.
Then you have the green.
Yeah.
So green allows you to get the additional normal summon. Don't really usually rely on that too much, but it has the Graveyard effect where it allows you to dump.
Okay.
So if you need that extra draw or potentially just comboing more off the others.
Gotcha.
And we play the Danger package because it allows us to abuse drawing and discarding.
Which is great for that deck.
So two
Mothman.
Mothman because it combos into green layer, allowing you to call out the Mac easier.
Okay.
Just good for discarding and then adding more and discarding again.
Gotcha.
And calling in more. Play 1 Nessie because we need that 7.
Yep.
Nessie just adds more to the hand, so if you need to get the field spell on the field, allows you to continue discarding.
You're probably going to consider putting 2 more in, I'm assuming. If you
I need to get some eventually.
Yeah.
But it's not a huge deal right now.
Okay.
Then we do the 1 Jackalope and the 1 Tsuchinoko for
Gotcha.
just for the 3s that you need.
Yep.
And that's the monsters.
Okay. Any changes you would make to the monster lineup going forward?
Definitely besides the Nessie, besides getting more Nessies, it's probably just fine as it is right now.
Okay.
I haven't really thought any more about
Sure.
that.
Gotcha. All right. We'll go to Spell and Trap.
So spells and traps. For spells, we have the 1-for-1, so allows you to discard and special summon Fairy Elfin, which you always want.
Yep. It's a great one of.
Foolish Burial allows you to dump whatever you need to the grave.
Another
so
good
if
one
you needed specifically if you don't have the 1-for-1, then you can double White Layer to the grave to add the Fairy Elfin you need.
Yep.
Monster Reborn. It's always just been good, especially lots of situations where if I need to call the a mech back or particular super quant.
Personally, I love the card. A lot of people are cutting it this format. I think it's still great.
I mean, Monster Reborn is just it should be a staple.
I feel
it's
like
a slow. Everyone says it's a slow card, air quote.
Yeah.
But it's still, you bring a monster back for free.
I have times that it pays off a lot to play that card still.
And my favorite one is Monster Reincarnation.
Okay, didn't see that coming.
Because what you do is, and this happens actually quite often, you can discard Dangers or any of the super quants to retrieve whatever card you need from the graveyard, and therefore proccing the effects of either like Nessie and then getting back a blue layer or an Alphin or a white layer.
Do the I know the Dangers work, but does the super quants require them to be cost or not? Or they just trigger no matter what?
It just, if it goes to the graveyard.
Okay.
So
by anything.
whether even if it's discard effect or just sent to the grave or even going to the grave from the deck,
Gotcha.
then it can activate its effect immediately. So that's why it's also really good that whenever you lose Magnus in some case scenario, then you can immediately get all the super quants effect activated.
Gotcha.
Terraforming, just so we can get that field spell quicker.
Yep. Good search.
And then Reasoning, so we can potentially get one on the field, or if we can dump a couple of them, if we dump accidentally a couple in the graveyard, just primarily get us 1 monster on the field, and potentially dumping a spell card that we want in the graveyard.
Yeah. Reasoning is good, it just triggers them in general. So
Feather Duster, but I'm pretty sure I might be swapping that out for Regeki, because not really much back row.
Okay.
And Upstart, just to get more draw power.
Gotcha.
And then the card that we want in the grave, Alphen Spike. So if Alphen is in the graveyard with Alphen Spike, you can banish both cards of them to add, or to not add, but to activate the field spell from the deck.
Gotcha.
And therefore it cuts the cost down of having to put the field spell on the field and stuff like that.
Are you playing more than one or just one?
Just one.
Okay. Is it Bricky has one?
It's been Bricky before, so I should have more than one, but I've just milled it down to one.
Gotcha.
If you manage to get the main effect off, then it's even funnier, because if you get 3 super quants in the field, you can send everything on your opponent's side of the field back to wherever it belongs, and then your opponent puts one exceed monster or one extra deck monster for free.
Gotcha.
So it's could be good, but you don't really rely on that effect. The effect that we definitely need is the E teleport to put the blue layer on the field. Yep. So just a must-have, because it's a level 3 psychic, so you definitely have to use that. And then we get the bread and butter, which is the Magna Carrier. So if you activate Magna Carrier while you have a Super Quant, you can pitch a card. You can add the Super Quant monster, or you can exceed summon on top of the Super Quant monster with a monster that has the same attribute and level equal to rank.
Gotcha. It's a
and then if you have the 3 mechs either on the field or in the graveyard, then you can send this card to the graveyard to summon Magnus on the field, which is the big boss monster you want for the deck.
Gotcha.
So that's spells.
Perfect. All right, we'll go into the trap lineup.
So traps, got Solemn Judgment, just one, but it might change. Just kind of thinking on it.
Yeah.
Then we have Mirror Force, just for the fun of it.
It's still a really annoyingly
It's
good
very
card.
funny when you have people encounter the Mirror Force where they're not expecting it.
Yeah. I'll tell you
It's
a good
happened
one.
once or twice.
I'll tell you a good one to side that I realized a lot is Storming Mirror Force, because it just shuffles them all back to the extra deck.
We have Magna Formation, which hasn't really come up that often. It's usually just more of discard fodder for super quant effects or stuff like that. So I'm probably just going to be swapping it out eventually, because it just really hasn't been paying off. Breakthrough Skill.
Surprising but good.
Had an opponent actually mill my Breakthrough Skill from the top of the deck, and I managed to actually get the effect off, and it worked. So, and then 2 Magna Slayers. So we get to have the Big Mech's sword, which allows it to become bigger, and it allows it to have piercing. You can then immediately detach or send it to the graveyard for Magnus to attack again.
Gotcha.
So it's good if they have something bigger like a Blue Eyes Ultimate on against Magnus, then you can boost him and basically
beat over it still.
So there's traps.
All right, we got the extra deck left.
And we got extra decks. And of course, if you're playing Super Quants, you need Magnus. Magnus has a variety of effects depending on a number of Exceed materials. It just says individual different cards. So the dangers also actually contribute nicely into that.
Yeah.
So 2+, he gets a quick effect where he can send a card by detaching material. 4+, he becomes unaffected unless by his own archetype, so Super Quantums.
Gotcha.
And then 6, he just makes it that he your opponent cannot activate or add cards from deck to the hand by card effect.
Gotcha.
So really good if he becomes a floodgate near the end.
Gotcha.
So got Magnus, and then just 2 of each mech. So Lustrex just makes it that he can't be prevents being targeted.
Yep.
And the fun thing about each of their mechs is that if you have their particular pilot, so if you have white layer or red layer, then their effects become quick effects.
Gotcha.
So Magna.
Underneath them is material?
Yes, underneath them is the material. So if you have like Nessie under the white layer, under Lustrex, it can't activate as a quick effect. So each of the individual mechs, 2 each.
Green, blue, red. Yep.
Just not enough room in the extra deck to really put in the third efficiently. And then I have these in, but I've never really used them. So I have the links, but the links never really come up effectively. It'd be nice if... I mean, it has the condition where it can't be destroyed by card effect, which is nice, but it's really hard to kind of go to the link and then extend off it.
Perfect.
It was kind of like it's when Master of 4 was thing, and you couldn't do all of these.
Yeah, now you can. It's a little bit easier.
So link just kind of becomes obsolete.
Yeah.
But the one link that does work nicely for this deck, that I do need to get another of, is Megaclops.
Oh, yeah.
Because if Magnus somehow manages to leave the field, unfortunately, you get 3 of the mechs back on the field, and Megaclops loves having 3 Exceed materials and 3 Exceed monsters.
Works out for it.
So basically, you lose one boss monster, but immediately get the next one.
Yeah.
And so that's the deck profile.
Perfect. Any changes you make to the extra deck, Harrison?
Possibly getting rid of one of the Neos to add one more normal Magnus.
Gotcha.
But can't really think of anything else. Maybe just accepting another Megaclops.
Perfect. Well, I appreciate that, Harrison. We will talk to you again later.